What's going on, everybody? I have my review for the day, May 11th here, Tuesday. So I actually did stream my trading in the morning. Now, I don't feel like going and watching through it all to see where my entries and exits and stuff were. I think I went on my way to make sure I typed my plays into Discord specifically for this very reason. But we'll try our best to figure it out. So I had I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 winners on the day and 1 loser. So a pretty solid day. Now I didn't get filled in full a single trade except for one of the after hours trades I took, which is unfortunate. So, I still did well today. I did all right, but none of my moves were huge because they all were like, half a position, quarter position, stuff like that, unfortunately. But I wasn't oversizing or chancing it. As you can see here, I'm still not 100 with this with where we're at in the market. So I just took what I got today. And had a solid day, Wasn't going to force anything. I called it there. I traded 2 names in the after hours just because they were easy, quick little scalps, 20 cents or something like that. But the first ticker on the day was Cirque. Trying to figure out where. Oh, okay, here we go. 849. So right in the middle of this big boy right here. And I took very light size on this. So my 1 loser was for like $50. So I did 316 to 309. 316 to 309. Okay, so that would have been based off of these levels here. I'm trying to make sure that when I do my plays, I explain where I got my zones from. So we're looking at right there. Pre-market levels, always my go-to at the open. Let's see. Yeah, so anyways, simply because I knew that this move was pretty extended here. Obviously now it looks like, dude, you couldn't have purchased any higher. But, when you're looking at it and it looks like this, you don't know that, that comes to follow. Now, one thing I told myself as I was getting into it was I don't ever like to see the 10-minute candle close below these, right? So this 10-minute chart told me, that it's not still bullish. The fact that this wick went all the way up here and sold all the way back down should have told me that a sell-off is coming. Like, if anything, when I see these, I usually short them. If it's a large cap and I see a huge wick on a high time frame candle and then it come back down, I know, okay, that was it. That's probably the rally on the day, and then it sells off. But I did my bids. I actually didn't do descending bids because I was kind of hesitant due to this. Even on stream, I was like, I'm just gonna take like 100 shares, and I did. I took 100, or I'm sorry, no, I took. I can't remember. I had 500 shares, and I just had like a 10-cent stop. Simply because I knew that if it came down here below VWAP, yeah, my stop was at $3 even. So I ended up taking a 10-cent loss and was like, you know what, with half a size or a third a size or whatever. And I was out $50. And I said, okay, respecting my rule from yesterday that I mentioned, I will not be trading a ticker that I have lost on for at least 20 minutes. So I didn't even look at CERC. Not that there was much to look at. I mean, I know a lot of people in chat were hoping to add on this bounce and have it move up, but I mean, this is a pretty typical all day fader if you if you ask me. That is damn, and it was shortable. Damn, that would have been a brilliant short on the day. I mean, I could have literally shorted it right. You know, when you see this right here, you short it down here, the break a low VWAP, and dude, you're getting almost a 45, 50 cent move at its peak. You know, you're getting a 60 cent move. That's pretty good, pretty good. But yep, that was my one loss on the day. I have my brokerage up here now. DDD. I think DDD was next. I did DDD and Neo and PLTR almost all at the exact same time. So I just had to figure out exactly where. Okay. DD, you know, obviously it's in the morning, so I was still here. So DDD 2135 to 21-1 watching, and that was at 9:03. So 9:03. I said 2135 down to 21-1. So yeah, this actually ended up being a really good move here. So I ended up taking this zone. My defined stop was going to be right down here. I can't remember exactly where I had it. Yeah, I had to go back and watch a stream. Probably down there, 20.8 or something. Maybe I had it even tighter than that. I don't remember. Maybe it was just below 21 for I don't know. But I did end up getting filled, I think with two bids total of the, I think I had 4 or 5. But you can see right here that on the 5 and on the 10, I mean, this is a gorgeous, this is what you want to see. I mean, it didn't, because these W patterns like this usually means that the stock is weak. Obviously, in this case, it did end up rallying. But when you see a high and then a fail to reach the high and then a fail to reach the high again, I usually am not interested. I want, after 2 or 3 attempts on new high of day, because that basically resets the count, if that makes sense. So after this high, we can get a low, but then I want another high. If we get a lower low and then a higher high, that says that the stock is still a lot of strength to the trend. So I'm okay with these little FOMO rallies right here. This is one of my favorite plays, is when a stock runs to the high of the day and then it pulls back here, and the pullback was less volume than the initial run up. I get in at a good pullback spot, tight risk, identify volume. On the run up, is the volume less than on the run up initial over here? If so, then you're not going to high a day, so you need to sell it at a more reasonable target. I actually ended up selling entirely at 22 here and ended up making some decent money. But yeah, when you see this volume tell you that this rally up has less volume behind it than this rally up, then that, you know, the odds are pretty likely that you're not going to beat where that rally ended up. But I'm happy to get in on these people who are like, oh, I missed out on this. Let me get in now that it's pulled back, and then we'll shoot for a new high day, and I'll just take advantage of the next one. Well, if the volume's not there, the volume's not there. So, again, the FOMO fake out, secondary high a day fail. I don't know what I call this move, but this as a pattern and as an idea is one of my absolute favorites, because it's always people who are like, damn it, I missed out. I should have bought in. It comes down. They're like, okay, this is my chance. This is my chance to buy in. They buy in and they're like, all right, now I'm going to get that high a day I missed out on. And then there's not enough people also making that bad decision, so it just fails. Now, right here would have actually been a pretty interesting area to buy, simply because you got some tight consolidation, a higher high, At this 22.5 break, you can tell that the psych level was just a little too strong. Volume was more or less the same as it was over here. So lower low. Once I saw this lower low, I probably would have shot for a high a day right there after this failed one. But I don't know. That psych level ended up being, I mean, obviously I would have taken profit at psych levels and stuff like that, 22, 22 and a half, 23. But just interesting to look back on now. But anyways, as far as the play I actually took, I ended up getting filled 2 of 4. I sold half at VWAP for a 30-something cent move. And then I sold the rest at 22. So I was like 45 minutes late for work, so I wasn't trying to hold all day. I'm also being very, very conservative with my price targets right now because there's been a lot of not continued action and trends that are failing and stuff like that. So I just want to take my guaranteed money with reasonable targets here. That ended up being that's still like a 50-cent move. And then the breakup here is almost a whole dollar. So, or 80 cents, something like that. So that's a really good move. That's a really good, I know that it looks like, wow, dude, you took it from here to here. That's nothing. But, you know, with good risk management, proper position sizing, like you can make a living doing this. So, you know, that's important to remember. But as far as this is concerned, dude, this actually would have been a beautiful place to take profit, get back in, or maybe take half profit, add back on size, take half profit again, and try to shoot for a free play. It would have ultimately failed, but that's just a little bit longer than I would have cared to have been in the trade. That's almost a whole hour at that point. But seeing this, you know, not quite a tweezer bottom, but pretty close. Wick into the zone, pop right above VWAP, hold, attempt a good rally. Low volume pullback right here. Low volume pullbacks are usually a really great sign. Over here on the 10, you got a beautiful reversal bar. Long wick to stop you in, closes right back up here. I say this all the time, but you love seeing that because that means that you're already in the money on the move, and it's a good sign of strength going upwards. So anytime you can get wicked and filled, oh man, that's just the bomb. Love to see it. Love to see it. Neo. I ended up taking a trade on Neo. So I am actually the EV sector specialist for my firm. So I, like, when we do our group meetings and things like that, I cover electric vehicles, stocks. I trade EV large caps every day. I just, you know, we don't review them or whatever. It's on the firm account. I actually don't know if I'm allowed to show the firm account. I mean, I could talk about the trades on here, but anyways, not important. I was very happy that my the low float small cap momentum plus what I do with my large caps kind of intersected today. That was pretty cool. Let me see if I can figure out where I ended up getting filled here. 921. Ah, I see. So I actually took, we'll do Neo now. 921. You know what? I am going to have to open up my my stream because I don't remember where that was, and I didn't type it in chat like a goober. Let's see. I'm sure I can find it really quick. Okay, here it was. That looks like it's... That looks blurry. Is that blurry all day? So 908 right here on this pullback. Okay, so I took this area. And it looks like I took Oh, is there a gap in the pre-market? Oops. Because it looks like that's how I identified my zone. Is this the right day? Yeah. Oh, okay. That makes more sense. I guess. I don't know. So that would have been right at 9:10, 33.5, 9:10. Sorry, guys. I will have to do better in the future. So right here. I actually took it a little bit below that. What is that? 33.8. Yeah, right here. So this ended up being my my zone here. I ended up taking this move right here. Again, I didn't get filled in full. My stop, easy to find stop right down here. I actually think I had it here at the base of this wick. Because that's given us the collapse of VWAP. It's given us the collapse of these areas here. This pre-market area here, which is how I based my, yeah, as you can see, that's this wick and this wick is how I based my zone here. So I ended up getting filled, I think, one of three. I think I did 3 bids, and I got filled one of them. I did one at the top, one in the middle, one at the bottom. And I got filled here, and I ended up taking profit at 34.5. 34.5, so yep, right here. So I, you know, that's a beautiful move. That's a 80 cents, you know, 80-cent move. That's a really strong, easy move without a whole lot of downside exposure. I mean, you're risking 20 cents, 25 cents to make a potential 70 to 80. That's, you know, really, really good odds. I'll take that chance every time. If you look over here, as far as collaboration on the, or corroboration rather, on the higher time frames. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, so right here, you're seeing, you know, this kind of, I don't really like seeing, I hate it when the 10-minute looks like a barcode, because it's like green, red, and they're all the same size, and it just trades sideways like a long, ugly rectangle. So I don't like seeing this. I would like to see some, you know, some wicks, some curvature, something a little sexier, right? However, when I was filled with this move, we got wicked in here, and then we had this really strong candle up. And then the next candle, obviously, went above and pulled back below. And I actually said it in chat. I said, I'm going to sell half at the break of 34.5. I'm going to hold the rest for 35. If at any point it comes back under 34.5, I'm just going to nuke the rest of the position. So it popped up. I sold half. And as soon as it came back down under, I got out the rest of my position. I wasn't liking the, you know, at this point it looked like, you know, that. I was like, well, it could be potentially flagging, but, you know, it eventually came to create this lower low here. And I was like, all right, I'm not interested in assessing another zone. But yeah, I mean, not a whole lot to see that gave me strength or corroboration after I was filled, and, you know, it broke this area here, went above the 20. I was like, all right, that's good. As soon as it came out off of this and I sold, I was like, yeah, I'm not really interested. It wasn't the breakout I was hoping for. You know, looking over here, nothing says, you know, this 5 looks good. It's like, okay, that's a kind of a, you know, that's almost a bearish sign in my opinion. Price selling down, but then this really strong engulfing candle almost tells you that, like, damn, it's about to go. And then when this candle didn't corroborate that story, I said, all right, never mind, I'm out. So yeah, pretty interesting trade right there. Pretty easy. Don't be afraid of $30, $50 tickers. I mean, I know that a lot of people have small accounts and they just don't have the capital to trade these names, and that's totally fine. That's totally fine. But don't think that because the stock is a little bit more expensive that it's somehow inherently more risky or scarier, because it's not. I mean, as long as you maintain that same, you know, risk management. So for instance, if it was $3, I could have taken, you know, 1,000 shares here at the 10-cent stop, or 2,000 or whatever. But being that, you know, this is, I mean, that's still only a 30-cent stop, which means that, you know, I just adjust my position size accordingly and I risk the same amount of money that I would risk on a $5 ticker. So there's sometimes some good action to be had, especially on days where small caps and low floats are really not struggling. You can find a NEO, you can find a plug, a GOEV, an FSR. Like, so there's a lot of pretty cheap large cap EVs. So, you know, I enjoy EVs. And also, usually, I'm not sure how this related. Oh, yeah, no, it's pretty close. Usually you can look at NEO, Plug, and Tesla, and they almost always mimic each other. And as you can see here, I mean, that was pretty dang close. Pretty dang close. So anyways, I actually took a trade right before this. Or I took it after. I ended up being in it a while because it moved so darn slow. But, God, this is one of the ugliest charts I've ever seen. Like, what the hell is that? There's no area where anybody feels good about getting back in. And it's an ugly chart. So PLTR, I ended up trading. Oh, let me tell you. 19 down to 18.75. Down to 18.75. That would have been right here. And I actually ended up, I was like, well, you know, I don't actually like this action a whole lot. So I ended up going and doing 1885 and saying, you know what, I'm only going to put bids down here. Now, had I not done that, I was just worried that, you know, like this is 20 cents higher than here. And so incorporating all that downside, my stop loss was down here at 18.5. You know, I was just like, well, you know, I'm not 100% comfortable with this. This is a lower high. You know, this 10-minute chart, once you see this, you know, that does not give me confidence. Again, the barcode nonsense. I hate it. So I said with this, I was like, you know what? I don't like what this looks like. We could have had this and then a dump off. So I simply limited my bids to a way tighter area in my zone. I got filled on just one of the three bids that I had down here. Spread out a few cents a piece, and then I sold at the at 19.2. I actually didn't get 19.2, so I was late for work, and I ended up getting like 19.15 or something. So it ended up being like a 30-40 cent move or what have you, but you know, obviously I would have loved to have been in bigger size and taken advantage of a 19.5 or a 20, but I didn't, so that's okay. What else did I take? DDD we did, right? Did we do DDD? Yeah, we did. Wait, no, we didn't. Oh, yeah, we did. Cool. Sorry, guys. That was like literally 10 minutes ago. APDN. So I think APDN I took at work. Oh, let me double check. I can't remember exactly. Give me 1 second. My dog is scratching up a storm. She's so bad today. Hey, get bent, Peach. Anyhow, I apologize. I have returned. APDN. I'm trying to remember when I took that. Oops. I think I can actually look on my broker here and see. Oh, okay. I took it at 1341. 663. Oh, yes. I remember now. Yeah, this ended up being way later in the day. APDN 674 to 662, and that was at almost noon. So 664 or 674 down to 662. So yep, I ended up getting filled right here. And you know, I remember yesterday I was talking about you know, when I see these kind of pop and drops and these sad bounces, that what I'm starting to do now is set my fill zones significantly lower. I was shooting for 7 here, and my stop was actually right here. I remember that vividly, right? Because of those candles. So I'm at work, and I remember talking about, like, if things don't immediately, once they come out of my zone, go to where I want them to, then I'm just going to close them out. So I ended up taking like a half position here. I didn't even want to risk a full size. So I took half a position here, and then I immediately sold it at the break of 6.8. Because I saw this action, I saw this, look at this volume, it's non-existent. And I was like, you know what, this is either an all-day fade, or I'm going to have to hold this position for an hour and hope that, you know, during power hour, some volume comes in and pushes it up. And you just got to, like, weigh out, like, what's your time worth to you at that point? You know what I mean? I mean, it was kind of a slow afternoon or whatever, and I think I was just taking a trade to try to take a trade, but I said to myself, you know what, I got other things going on. I can put away my stocks for the day. And so I just sold, and I wasn't even upset about it. I sold right at the break of 6.8, and I was like, we're never getting 7. We got to fight with a 20 here. You know, this was actually looking a little bear flaggish, in my opinion. 10-minute didn't really give me any better looks. Stock was technically in a... I actually considered shorting it right here, but it was unshortable at my brokerage. I mean, that's a tight downtrend after a really steep uptrend. And I've said it before that the steeper the uptrend, the less interested I usually am in it. But it was a winner, simply because I went with my pre-market approach, where as soon as it breaks my zone, I consider scaling out. Simply because, like, when you see this lack of volume come through, like, you don't want to hold through that, because the second volume comes in, it could do you one of these, take you down 20 cents, 15 cents in a single candle and stop you out. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this slow ride up, 16 cents or whatever it ended up being, not a big deal. Nerve. So I actually, these last two I ended up not calling it, or I didn't call out Nerve. I didn't call out Nerve. I was trading after hours. I really don't like calling out pre-market and after hours plays, because they're so, like, you have to have, like, your own set of rules when you're dealing with that ungodly lack of volume and what have you. So 287 down to 281. I took this. Now, that looks a little off because I was on Webull, but it, you know, and the charts don't always sync up. But you can see here that ended up being a hell of a zone. Hell of a zone here. I'm trying to see why I took... What chart is that I was using? Because I'm not seeing... Oh, yeah. So on Webull, that's crazy. So on Webull, this looks completely different. So that's strange. So I based my zone off of the gap between the two 10-minute candles. Here, I'll show it to you. This is what I was basing my zone off of. You see right here, this gap and this gap. But then we go over to Thinkorswim, and that gap isn't there. Huh, that's weird. Anyways, my zone ended up being 287 down to 281, which you know, it filled me all the same, so you can't, you know, you don't want to be upset about it. So this is actually the only move the whole day that filled me in full. And I took a ride from, I think my average was like 283, and I ended up getting 20 cents out of it, took it right as it popped above 3. I sold in full. My profit target was right here, and then right here. And yeah, I actually ended up getting 307. 307 is what is on my thing here. So yeah, I ended up getting a decent little move out of that. My best move on the day in after hours. After hours plays, to see them have this kind of, like, they actually respect the follow through is shocking. So I was very surprised and also extremely happy with that. But after hours is kind of a different beast. I'm not looking to scale. I'm not looking to add. I'm not looking to go for free plays. I'm all in at as close to the bottom of my zone as I can. And then well, I still do descending bids. But once I'm in, and I put the bulk of my orders at the bottom, once I'm in, I'm all out as soon as it hits my PT. Now, if it goes crazy and it shoots up or whatever, then yeah, I'll shoot for a higher PT because I think the momentum can carry it there. But like otherwise, I mean, it's very rare that I shoot for anything other than my first profit target, which was technically right here. But I sold, got filled, 306, 307, something like that. So that was a good trade. You know, the downside risk was actually pretty high. Obviously, you could put a stop 271. You're risking 10 cents. The issue is that by the time you actually fill, because you can't do market orders, you know, you can get filled way lower. So I try to be hyper cautious, which is why I don't often call out plays as much. So my last play of the day ended up being FUBO. It was another winner. Which is nice. So I had 1 loss and what is that, 6 winners, I think. So FUBO ended up also in after hours, ended up running a bit. And I remember exactly where it was. I said 2156 to 2126, and that was at 419. So 2156. No, 21. What did I say? 26. So as you can see here, I ended up getting filled exactly at 2156. I got filled here. So I was in with, once again, just a single one of my bids. And then it came up here right to the 21.8, and I sold. And I was like, you know what? I'll take 20 cents. I'm tired of this. And then look, I sold like right here for that quick little, you know, flipping pennies from here to there. And then it immediately went. But it's okay. I was in such small size. I didn't have the patience. It's the end of the day. I'm tired. I was like, you know what? We'll get it tomorrow. We'll do a better job. So you know what? I can't be upset with how the day went. You know, I didn't make, you know, I don't really have like a daily, this is how much money I need to make goal. Because I don't trade for a living, I don't have to be like, damn, I need this much money to pay my bills, which I think helps me a lot in the sense of like, you know, sometimes I can afford to walk away, or I can afford to be like, you know what, I'm only getting tapped in, small size, no need to oversize on anything. Let's just treat the day how it comes. You know, if things come to you the way that you do things, great. If they are only coming to you half and you're only getting filled on half your entries or whatever, you know, take that. That's just how the day is going to be. So be it. But I don't want to overcomplicate or try to go out of my way to do anything extra, because that's when I start setting up myself to have more opportunities to have errors. The more I try to get fancy with it, to try to, you know, really pad my stats or just get that little extra more out of every trade, is when I start opening myself up to, you know, bigger downsides, worse risk management, things like that. So, you know, I'll just take the slow, half in, kind of half fill kind of day. You know, that's not a bad day. I mean, accuracy wise, you can't ask for much better. You know, six wins and a loss is incredible, but you know, we'll have hopefully a higher percentage gain day tomorrow. But, you know, it's nice to have these. It's nice to have these days where you can just, you know, feel nice about yourself and go to bed a better trader than you woke up. So obviously questions are always welcome, and my DMs are always open. Feel free to reach out. I will be streaming again tomorrow, twitch.tv/professor just like my YouTube, except between Professor and Palmer, there's an underscore. Professor underscore Palmer. I'm not super talkative on there. I'm usually tired. I don't trade in the pre-market. It's probably pretty boring. I'm doing it mostly so that I can watch it and review my process myself. But you know what? If anybody feels like they can gain something out of it, then, you know, you're obviously more than welcome to stop by at any point. So that'll be it for me. Have a great rest of your day, guys, and I hope that tomorrow brings us an even better day than today. So be well.